Sun worship is a form of ancestral worship. I'm going to say it again. Sun worship is a form of ancestral worship. Okay? I said something on Facebook today. I said that the sun is a collective. Let me see what I'm going to try to remind myself what I said, because I want to quote. I don't want to quote myself wrong. I want to get my exact quote, see, because things come through me, as I always say. Knowledge comes through me, right? It doesn't come from me. I never say knowledge comes from me. It comes through me. I said that the sun is a communal effort put forth to provide energy, light, and intelligence to this and other planets within the solar system, from the solar beings who have walked on this planet in physical form and others by way of Amen. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that the sun, right, which is pure energy, pure fire, in fact, it is described as, it runs actually on hydrogen, right? Hydrogen fuel. And the sun is pure energy, right? Pure solar energy. And what do they teach? The first things they teach you in science is that energy cannot be destroyed, right? They teach you that energy cannot be destroyed. The sun is a star that sits in the center of the solar system, and it is perfectly rounded and consists of hot plasma that is interwoven meaning woved in, hot plasma that's woved in to a magnetic field. What does that mean? That means that there is a plasma, right? Same plasma that's in your blood sits in the sun, right? Why is plasma in the sun? Why is plasma interwoven throughout the sun? Right? When you interweave something, it's to keep it together. Right? What is being kept together in the sun? Souls. Souls are being kept together in the sun. The same thing that sits in every black person's body, so-called black person's body. Souls. Your souls are the origin of the sun. Our people were not here on the planet. We were on other planets and other realms, and those realms and planets faded out. And as a result, a community was formed to bring life to a new planet, right? A new group of planets. So your sun became necessary, and all the souls or the solar beings that couldn't make it over into this realm went into the communal sun or the planetary sun, because the sun is a planet and it has life on it. Now, the white scientists say that that's impossible. No life can live on the sun. They base that on the understanding that any planet that has water on it has life on it, which is true. Human life, right? Human life has any planet that has water on it has human life on it, right? Because your humans were bred in water, as I taught, which is also why your white man and all of them, they were going to the moon, because the moon was once a part of the sun. The sun orbits the earth, and the moon, and the earth orbits the moon, if I got that right. But what that's saying is that they don't see life. They found water on the moon, right? Because it was once part of the earth. And they say that, and they also found water on Mars. So that's showing you that these planets were used to breed life, human life. However, the sun houses solar life, Amen force, omni beings, right? Those people who don't have water as a makeup in their body. People say, oh, well, that's a little bit out there. Right? Some people might say, don't bother looking at any books. Certain things you can look up, certain things you won't be able to use or look up that I'm going to teach you tonight. I'm going to show you. This is all going to be based in logical common sense. They say energy can't be destroyed. So if energy can't be destroyed, it can't be made. It just is. It exists. Right? So that energy that makes up the sun, that solar power, has to come from someplace else. Right? And then they say when you pass off of the planet, us being solar beings, because I got rid of that whole spiritual thing because our people are not spiritual beings, we're actually solar beings. We house a solar plex in our bodies. Right? Now, the light that moves through your body, the light that gives you energy or power, that links you to that solar energy or that solar intelligence from the sun, that plugs you into that gives you a charge when the sun is up, that light is linked to your solar energy, your solar plex, to power you forward. Now, when you pass off of the scene, where does that light go? Where does that soul go? Energy or anything is going to return from where it came, right? It's going to return from where it came or where it's sent to go. Now, I just said that it's interwoven, the sun is interwoven through a magnetic force, through a magnetic field. And you can look this up, you know, for those of you who don't think what I'm saying is true, your white scientists say that, you know, if you need to go listen to them, it's interwoven, right? As hot plasma interwoven into magnetic fields. What does a magnet do? A magnet pulls something, right? It pulls something. So if you're solar beings, it makes sense that your soul would go back to a power source or something that it recognizes, another solar force, right? Where you are recognized at. Reason why I said that ancestral worship of the sun is ancestral worship because the souls of your ancestors are in the sun. They're in the sun. They're in the light. What do they say when they're passing off the scene? I'm walking into the light. What is that light that they're walking into? What is that fire? What is that light? It's a planet. Your sun is a planet. And they say that, you know, it's about 92,960,000 miles from the sun, which they round off to, 93,960,000 miles, which they round up to 93 million miles away from the planet. Right? Now, 9 and 3 is 12, and 1 and 2 is 3. Placing the planet placing the Earth 3 planets away from the sun. At number 3, we're in a 3-dimensional force right now. Right? So, is that a coincidence, a mathematical coincidence, why the sun is sitting so far or sitting in distance from the planet? Why is it sitting in distance like that from the planet? And it adds up to the number 3. There's no such thing as coincidences, right? Our ancestors' souls go into the sun as a community, sending energy, sending light, sending power to this planet, right? They tell you, they say scientists say in another 4 billion years or so, the sun, one scientist says that the sun is going to burn out. It's on its last leg. It's aging. That's what they say. The sun is aging. It's getting old, right? They say that the sun is aging. It's getting old. Now, how could the sun get old or age if it doesn't have the attributes of a person? Right? They said that. Look it up. Scientists said the sun's getting old in about 5 billion years or 4 billion years. The sun's going to burn out. Right? They also turn around and say that the sun or energy can't be destroyed. Which one is it? They said it's going to dwarf into a star and it's going to be it and it's going to burn out totally. But I thought energy couldn't be destroyed. It can be converted into something else. Same way when your soul leaves your body, it's being converted. That energy is going to be converted into something else. Same way they say that water will always seek to get back to water. People will always seek to be around the type of people they are. Likes will always attract the likes. It's the same principle here. Same principle. Right? The whole point of the sun being utilized to send messages, send power, send energy to this planet, right? More than just sitting up there heating the planet, it's being used to send messages. The light is being used to send messages, send intelligence, aim it someplace, cause things to grow here, right? So it is a living entity, right? It is being used to take care of people on this planet, living beings on this planet, right? It's being utilized to do that. Why? Because it has to be life there, right? Don't fall for the nonsense where they tell you, oh, only life can exist where there's water, right? I told you a long time ago, I said, human life being bread and water, they only recognize other life forms as that which is bread and water. This is the reason why they don't recognize our people as being human. Your slave master would say our people weren't part of the human race, and they were right, because they don't recognize other life forms that are not bread and water. We were not bread and water. That was the problem. They recognized the East Indians, the so-called Native Americans, the Asians, same kind of hair that flanks over in this bread and water. And with their fascination with the moon, which is why they went there, right? Because the moon pulls the tides on the planet, and it also pulled them in a magnetic force to go there. That's why they were attracted to the moon, right? Because if these people are made up of water, and these people were made in water, right, and their hair is based on, and their features in their hair is based on the gravitational pull where their hair grows down, then that means that they were driven, just as the sun has a magnetic pull to it, or a magnetic field, the moon also has a magnetic pull to pull human beings toward it, which is why they base everything on romance and things like that, and the romanticizing of the moon. And what do we tend to do as black people? We tend to worship the sun, or be connected to the sun in some kind of way, whether it was in ancient Egypt, Sumeria, things like that. We raising our hands up to the sun and all these things. We're sun people. We are solar beings, right? Because our ancestors, the souls of our ancestors, make up that sun. They live there. They reside in the sun. Now, like I said, I know a lot of people say, oh, that's crazy. This brother done lost his mind. Just told you. And they admitted that it was plasma, right, which they pick up as life forms moving on the planet. And they even did a documentary one time, was it possible to live on the sun? They said the surface of the sun would be too hot. No, it wouldn't. Because when you're looking at the outer sun, you're looking at the heat in the outer sun. You're not. It's the same principle as a person going to the North Pole and saying, "Oh, it's freezing below this, that, and the third." But then you'll see the white man. He'll go there. Next thing you know, he's swimming in it. Now I thought it was really in the water there, the frigid waters there. He's swimming in it. He's building igloos there, right? And it becomes livable. But I thought you said no life could live there. It was times where they said no life could live in places like the North Pole and things like that. It was too cold. But then they were also talking about the subject of somebody, like possibly being on the sun, right? That no life could be on the sun. But then you have plasma. Same plasma that's going through your blood. Same plasma that Dr. Charles Drew found. Where did he find that at? How did he come up with the plasma to save the lives of soldiers? Where did it come from? Who was he operating on? Who was he allowed to touch? It had to be black soldiers, right? The plasma in your blood resembles the same plasma that's interwoven in the sun, right? The solar force that is in you will constantly seek to go back from whence it came. Why are we sun worshippers? Why are we looking at the sun? Why do we feel a need to gather on Sundays? Right? Why are we out where it's hot? Right? Why are we more energized when it's hot? Because we have a natural connection with the sun through our solar plexus. We are solar beings. Right? The sun was put in its orbit, or put in its place in the center of the solar system to give life to all of these worlds, to cause rotations around them, the planets, to cause the planets to rotate, Right? This is real. Our people don't understand that in the essence of, the sun's light and what we haven't done to harness the power of the sun, where we're not, where we're now discovering, your science is discovering that, this planet doesn't have to run on electricity, it can actually run on the sun. Then they go, oops, there's electricity in the sun, right? There's electricity in the sun. They figured out, or they starting to figure out that the light or the sun's light going through the planet is actually where your electrical current is coming from. The light is where the current comes from, right? And that power can be manipulated. They're figuring out ways to manipulate it by building solar towers and whatnot and housing energy to power this planet, right? They also said that, energy and power can be drawn from the sun, but you would have to have the same makeup within you, the same makeup to pull the magnetic force field of the power from the sun. You would have to have the same makeup in you to be charged by the sun, to have energy pulled from the sun, right? This all went along when I did that the broadcast a couple of weeks ago about the plan to convert our people from solar beings or solar people or soul people, right, into spiritual people, soulful people to spiritual people, i.e. solar beings to lunar beings, right? Why? Because that cuts your power. It cuts your connection to the sun. It weakens your solar plex, right? Because now you breed another being where the light is lesser, right? What do they talk about? Remember they said that in the Quran and your Bible, they talk about the greater light and the lesser light. What was the greater light? Who was the greater light that was walking the planet? It was your Amen beings, your God race, and your lesser light were the creations, your human race. The ones who had a portion of God in them, meaning they had a bit or a piece of his soul in them. When they say breathe the breath of life into these people, this is all, though it is symbolic, it is really actual accounts of the creation of human life and the giving of that solar magnetic energy toward them. Small piece, not as strong as that which moves through you. So what has to happen? As they are saying, the sun is becoming hotter. It's starting to generate more heat. More, you have a stronger pulsation of heat coming from the sun. What happens? It starts to activate something. It activates the people who are solar beings on this planet. Right? Could that be why there's a big thing to push mixing amongst our people now? I saw a commercial the other day, and I said that I said that our people are supposed to be levitating at this time. Our people are supposed to be flying in a minute. We're supposed to be levitating and moving through the atmosphere, flying. Why? Because we are solar beings, and what does heat do? Heat makes things rise. Levitation, which is the first stage of flight. We as solar beings, as the sun is starting to become hotter, the pulsation is starting to kick up, we're supposed to start being able to levitate and hover. Why did I see a commercial yesterday, right? And I it was the other day, and to me it didn't make any sense. It was on TV One. There was a basketball player, right? I believe he was a basketball player, and he was hovering through the air. I don't know if he was a basketball player. I don't know what he was, but sisters say he was a basketball player. I hope this commercial comes back on. He was hovering through the air. He was just hovering around, like flying around, like hovering in the air, and he had an Asian wife, and he had an Asian son. The son, the funny thing about it was the son didn't look mixed or biracial, but the son looked Asian, right? And the man was hovering around. The black man had his natural, short natural. He's hovering around and talking to it. The Asian woman was his wife, and the Asian child was supposed to be his child. Like I said, didn't look like he was a mixer between black and Asian. He just looked like a straight-up Asian kid. And she said, honey, go to your room, Daddy, and we're going to talk about something like that. But I just found that commercial very strange. What are they saying? Who is this supposed to kick into? See, people see programs and commercials and they think it's just something regular. These are all messages. They're showing you something, right? The truth is going to come out, right? That we are those solar intelligent beings. And just as this light is starting to pulsate and you keep talking about the return of our ancestors, the return of your ancestors are coming through the solar rays. It's coming through the sunlight. They're enacting something in you, right? They're sending you messages, right? Along with your ascendants who are sending messages from the future. They are continuously sending you messages, right? Through that sunlight, through those solar rays, they're sending you messages, right? This is real. Where else does the soul go? You tell me. I'm open to listen. If this sounds far-fetched or far-gone, you tell me where the soul goes. Where does energy go to match other energy at? Where does it go? It has to seek or go back to where it knows, where it's familiar. Right? It has to go back to where it's familiar at. Don't give me this nonsense about, it going to a place where we're in clouds, and then, the religious world believes that our soul goes to a place where there's clouds and things like that, and that makes no sense. Right? Factually, you're going to go back to where you belong, the origin or the essence of where you come from, right? Your body goes into the earth, or it stays here on earth, right? And your soul has to travel back somewhere. Go into the light. Go into the light. What is the light? It's the sunlight, right? It's that solar community, right? I said that our people are light beings. That's why we use the title of the bright race, right? Our people have been in other solar systems. This is not the first solar system our people came to. This is not the first solar setup. We set up solar systems wherever we go, all over the universe. Earth is not the first, the solar system where Earth is continued. That is not the only solar system we set up. We have many solar systems that have come, and as we could no longer live in those solar systems, we broke them down and we set up someplace else. Even in the universe, we are travelers. We are wanderers. We are travelers. We go from different spaces in the universe to set up solar systems. That's our people, the Amun race, the Amun beings, the Omni ones. Beyond this black nonsense that we set up here and called ourselves and we fell into. See, because it's hard for our people to accept this truth because, they still looking at the fact that they still caught up on Africa and this, that, and the third, and that they still caught up on that. So it's hard for them to see outside of that box of Africa. It's hard for them. So I had started the whole thing of when I started saying our people are not African, that's the title of the white man, and that our people were walking all over the planet when it was all one landmass, one Pangea. I've been saying that. So why do we call ourselves Africans? To get our people to think nationally or internationally so that eventually we can start thinking universally, meaning all over the planet, all over the universe, excuse me. Right? If that energy, like I said, you see it, if that magnetic pull pulled the white man and all of them back toward the moon, or pulled them to the moon, right? Because of its pulling of the tides, meaning even all the creatures with it who were created in the tide or in the waters on this planet, it pulled them back toward its people, right? It's lunar people, the people, as Dr. York used to say, those people who carry a lunar plex, it pulled its people back. It's also pulling us back into the sun. It's bringing us closer to it, right? It wasn't that our people, when you seen our people worshiping, they said they was worshiping the sun. It wasn't that they was worshiping the sun, right? I dare to say that they understood that the souls of our people went there. Ray, right, went there. There's a reason why They say that what the sun is perfectly rounded, right? It's perfectly rounded. Anything or for a planet, for anything to be perfectly rounded, that means it's a planet. It's a planet. Anything that's perfectly rounded means someone lives on it. It's well rounded for a reason. It's not flat. It's not straight out. It's perfectly rounded, like any other planet, right? Just like you have certain planets that are not livable because it might not have enough water, or it might have too much of this going on there, might have too much of that. They say that for the human being, the planet is not livable. The sun would not be livable for the human being. But for the Amen being, for the Omni being, the solar being, it's livable. It's livable. Right? Totally different type of life form. Totally different type of people on this planet. I'm going to take a call. 801. 801, you're on the air.
Hey, yeah, what's going on with you, New?
Hey, how you doing, brother?
Doing good, man. I didn't even mean to press one, but I'll chime in. I'll have these dreams all the time, and it feels like I feel like I'm floating. I'm just jumping. I like just anti-gravity pretty much. And it feels so real, and I do it so much. It just seems a lot about what you was talking about with the, levitation, a little lift. And that's some real stuff, though. But keep doing what you're doing. I'm listening, though, New.
Mm-hmm. All right. The thing is, like I said, like I kept saying about the story of Superman, right? And how he draws energy from the sun. Those people who wrote that story, they know about our people and how we're supposed to draw energy from the sun, how that is our ancestors in the sun. And the energy we're drawing from is their energy, a continuous blood energy, a continuous bloodline connection, in which plasma exists. It is that form of nuclear energy, right? The sun runs on nuclear energy, right? Runs on hydrogen, all that. It's nuclear energy, right? From the nucleus of a body or a body of people, right? A prime people, right? This is real because if our people, right? Like I said, if you notice, whenever our people come together, what do we say? Damn, niggas. Whenever niggas get together, niggas generate heat. Don't y'all say that? Whenever niggas get together, it's hot. You know, when our people get together, they always watching our people, right? A white man, all them. Whenever our people, there's gonna be some trouble. And our people could be dressed up in nice suits. It's gonna be a problem. It's different than when they gather, right? When our people come together, it's fiery, heat. They call our people hot-blooded people. Then they call us that hot-blooded people, right? Why would they refer to us? All these things that come out of their mouth, they don't even understand why they're saying them, right? Because we have that heat and that fire coursing through our blood, through our bloodstream, right? And it's constantly trying to be put out, right? Slowed down, because as we are supposed to be moving toward that evolution, right? Same way the sun is going through an evolution, we're going through one with it as well. We're supposed to be in tune with it. That's the ancestral connection right now, right? The solar ancestral connection, right? And also the line of ascension toward our children who are yet to be here or who are here. They're going to discover that connection. Mark my words, it will be a time where they will discover that you can go live on the sun. Think about this for a minute. I want you to open your minds up. Why is it that our people didn't have any diseases before we came here? Why is it that our people had no diseases? We didn't have any deformities. Right? We didn't get diseases and deformities until we started intermingling and mixing our seed with the human race. Until the Amen beings, the God race from which we came, started mixing our seed with the human race. That's when our bloodline started getting diseases, because people who have a bloodstream, right, a bloodstream right, that moves like in a watery type of thing, their blood is weak and is open to all kinds of diseases, especially since they come from animals. Their bloodline, their bloodstream is open for all sorts of diseases. Where ours, because we are hot-blooded people who have solar plasma in our bloodstream and on our blood, we are those people who have that solar plasma, same as the plasma that is interwoven into the sun. You can't keep a disease alive in our blood. You couldn't keep it alive, right? A virus couldn't live in our blood, right? Couldn't keep it alive. But when you allow yourself to be mixed in with different people, your bloodstream is exposed to all kinds of diseases and degenerate cells. What's the degenerate cell that's in our bloodline? The bloodline of the human, right? Things that run through it. What runs? Water runs, right? Water runs, right? They say a sickness has to run its course, right? Because you have different foreign things running through your bloodstream. That your solar plex and your solar your solar plasma doesn't recognize it. When you mix your seed outside of your race, you change the whole genetic makeup of who you are. You change that solar connection, right? You change that solar connection that's outward, and you end up tapping into that which is earthbound, right? Which is why our people don't look beyond this world. They think everything is here. Everything is not here. You have certain things that are representations of other things that are here, but everything is not here. There are things we've yet to discover, right? And that solar connection was supposed to be our guide into the future, right? Because that solar connection, that plasma, or that interwoven plasma, that's interwoven magnetically, has traveled or has been through different parts of the universe and other worlds. So if that represents people or solar beings that have been in other worlds, who are now part of the sun, whose souls go into making up the sun, then that energy is being beamed here. What we're supposed to be picking up, we're supposed to be seeing into the future through that energy, through that light, because it's piercing all through the universe. Solar systems have been destroyed already. New ones have always been made. What we do on Earth is a small model. I'll just use the word model. It's a small model of what we did in the larger universe or the outer world. What we do in the inner world is a small model of what we've done in the outer world. We've always been people that move throughout the solar system and set up other planets, set up other solar systems. So if this one breaks down, we'll go and set up another one. Right? As people who are constantly moving from place to place in the universe, because the universe is our Pangea. The universe is our Pangea, much bigger than the world. The universe is our Pangea. We could set up anywhere out there, which is what we did. And we took the smartest routes in setting up. We put our center sun, our older civilizations, our older solar systems in one place to send energy to this new place called Earth, right? Where we're going through an evolution. We took all of the older societies, the older solar systems, and put them all into one, called the sun, to send intelligence here, right? That's real. Where does all the energy, where does all the solar energy, where does all the souls go? After they've lived out here, where do they go? They have to go someplace. Energy has to go someplace. Pay attention to that. Right? Why do we raise our hands to the sun? Why did, in the so-called, what the Africans did when our people went amongst the Africans? We held, you ever see that thing in Roots where our people held babies up into the sky, right? Usually in the sunlight, very rarely to the moon, but usually in the sunlight, right? We were getting charges, right? We were getting charges of light, charges of power, right? We are the receptors of that power on this planet. We are the receptors of that power on this planet. We are the reception. If the planet does not have people to receive that solar energy on the planet, if it doesn't have people that can pick it up, right, then the planet will die. They said if the sun stopped, they contradict themselves, your scientists. They say if the sun stopped burning tomorrow, if it went totally out, would the earth die? At one point they said, yeah, the earth would die. Now they're saying the earth could live thousands of years. It could constantly, it could live and would just get a little colder, but the earth could live without the sun. Now they say that. Right? Now they say that. But what about the vegetation? Right? Because the sun rays and the light that comes to the planet makes the vegetation grow. Right? It causes rays to the vegetation. It's not just water. Right? Because they say things will become frigid and cold. If things became frigid and cold, then you couldn't raise anything without sunlight. You couldn't raise food here. You couldn't raise vegetables and crops here. Right? And then they say, well, the planet would still be warm. Maybe the inner sun, right, and the people that's walking on this planet who carry a solar plex. But then it all has to link up as three suns: the sun from the outer world, or in the solar system that sits perfectly in the center, to the solar plex sitting in our chest, to the inner sun that's in this planet. These things are acting as power generators to keep things rising, to keep things growing, right? If they are not pushing things up, pushing new things out of the soil, right, bringing new life, bringing plant life, whatever, then the planet will die. Because we are people who are all about growth. As I said, heat makes things rise. I was like the brother, I had the same dream of constantly, and this is happening more frequently, of constantly being able to levitate. Right? Many of us starting to feel it's real. Because it is real. It is real. You're just looking into the future. When you seeing yourself levitate, you might be looking through your son's eyes or through your daughter's eyes. Because as the sun is becoming more evolved, because everything that's here in existence is supposed to be going through an evolution, just as the sun is, just as it's starting to bubble up and the hydrogen is turning into helium and things like that, and it's sending. And what does helium do? As the hydrogen is turning into helium, what does helium do? That's, isn't that what powers hot air balloons to rise into the air? Rise, heat, air, hair. All of it plays a part in something that's taking place. It's no such thing as a coincidence. We are moving in an evolved state. And yes, we're about to take flight. Some of us. Some of us are about to start levitating, even flying. Because I said our people are levitational beings, not gravitational. Though we can carry a levitational pull and a gravitational a levitational lift and a gravitational pull, a lot of our people are going to start cutting on to a levitational lift. And like I said, a lot of your people, a lot of the so-called witches and the people in the satanic thing, they've already started doing it. They're starting to jack your power, as I said. That's solar energy. They're figuring out how to do it. Meanwhile, keeping our people ignorant, because we're not thinking about this thing. We're not coming together where we could have been standing together as those solar beings, and next thing you know, there might be a levitation taking place. Somebody might mess around and take flight. That's real. That is real. That is part of our evolution. We're not picking up a lot of things, like I said, a lot of things that we're supposed to be tuned into, a lot of things that are supposed to be coming through us, a lot of intelligence that's supposed to be coming through us, because we look at things of the past, things that are earthbound, things that are stuck here, and we're not looking ahead into the future. Had we looked ahead into the future, you understand? You understand things better in the past. You would have understood the connection of the sun with our people. Nobody's ever broken it down this way till tonight, where it's supposed to logically make sense as us being solar people, solar beings. Be underneath this skin that they told us was black. When I started referring to our people as the bright race, meaning the solar intelligent beings, the soul beings, beyond this skin that's actually brownish red, if you look at it, our skin is a reddish brown like the sun. We have reddish brown skin, right? Our skin looks like, even though our people of the lighter skin, our skin is reddish brown and reddish beige. Where does that red come from? We sit up here and we talked about the sun being black like the soil under the ground and whatnot, but it's a reddish hue that's interwoven in our brown skin. Why is that? Right? We're supposed to be linking into something right now. And almond plays a part in all of that. See, we were kind of ignorant to it, right? While we have an affinity for Sunday, right? Why we pick that day to praise or so-called worship God, right? On a Sunday, right? God uses the sun to send us messages. God uses the sun to tell us when to congregate. What God made man call that day Sunday, right? Sunday, the first day of the week, not the seventh, but the first. One, as they teach you that God is one, and that everybody comes together as one to worship the one on a Sunday. Does that not represent all a people in tune with the sun, right? People who are in tune with God on a Sunday, right? That is a family connection. The Son of Man, SONSUN. It's the same thing phonetically, and it means the same thing, right? Because what do they tell you? That your semen, the man's semen, carries a charge or a spark to it when it goes up the spinal column to the medulla oblongata and receives a charge or a spark, mental charge. Where's that spark coming from? And it travels back down the spinal column and out through the penis, right? Because that is your spark of intelligence that your child is going to receive, right? That is where the soul goes into your child, male or female. It rides on that sperm cell, on that sperm seed, right? That is your ancestors, or what you call your ancestors, sometimes coming back through them, coming back through that solar charge. That's where they receive their soul from, their personality, that which makes them up, right? That's where they receive it. Pay attention. We have a special connection to the sun. And I'm not saying that we're supposed to be sun worshipers, right? I'm not saying we're supposed to be sun worshipers, but the almond beings, some of the almond beings, right, live in that sun or in that solar system. They live in that solar world. Now people say, well, what about, you talked about the moving planet of Nibiru and things like that. Some of our people live there too. That's a sun. That's what they talked about when they said that a second sun was coming in. All of their planets look like suns. Every planet that our people reside on resembles a sun. The Earth is actually a blue sun. Right? Earth is actually a blue sun. Right? Because we, being, if you, like I said, they refer to Earth as the blue planet, right? And does not a sun sit in the center of the planet? So Earth would be considered the blue sun, or the people that reside on it, right? The people that reside on it, who are our people, we would be those people who carry that sun in our chest. So this planet is shaped like the sun, it carries certain elements from the sun here. They tell you the origin of this planet, right, was like the sun. The beginning of this planet was like the sun. That solar explosions took place on the sun, right? And the sun, the sun was sparking off and throwing things into a rotation, right? As they talk about how this planet came, because they tell you that this planet came out of the sun, right? They say that this planet was throwing things from the sun, and all kinds of material and things were being thrown off of the sun and pulling things into a rotation, right? And constantly moving in the rotation, where they said the Earth's surface was hot like the sun until it took time to spin and cool off, right? Then the creation of water came on the planet to cool the Earth off, right? Said the sun, this planet came out of the sun, right? That's real. That's your creation right there. Your world out of their world. That's your creation right there. The Earth is out of the sun, right? And when they brought water here, that was the beginning of life, human life. But we were always here. The almond beings. The humans came later. That is your creation. They tell you, look it up in your science thing. They tell you the surface of the sun was hot. Why do you think the surface of the sun was hot? Like they tell you the sun is. The surface of the earth was hot. I'm sorry. The surface of the earth, the original earth, the surface of the earth was hot. Why was the surface of the earth hot? Because it had elements of the sun. It came out of the sun. Right? And water was created here to cool it off. Right? It took millions and millions and millions of years for that to take place before it was able to be livable for human life. The almond beings were already coming here already. They already lived in this atmosphere. But it took millions and millions and millions of years for human life to come on the surface. Water had to cool it off. Right? A different genetic makeup of people were coming here. So it couldn't be the way it was. Different group of people. Right? Creation story. Creation account. Right? Questions, comments. Anybody open for questions and comments? You tell me what I just said, everything I said didn't make perfect sense. Though, like I said, I know some bits and pieces you'll be able to find here and there in your scientific books, but some you won't. I told you this intelligence of mental life, which is where I'm taking this from, is based in pure logic of a solar race of people. Right? A solar race of people. Right? You resonate as solar beings. Look at your hair raising up in the air. Like the trees and the things are raising up in the air. That proves that you are not like everybody else here. The difference is you are solar beings. They are lunar beings. They are water people. You are fire or light people. You're fire people. Right? And we will continue on that way. When this earth breaks down, right, the solar beings will go on to another world, right? Some will enter the sun, and they will leave. Some will move out or be able to take flight off of this planet. your human race, like if you ever notice, they say that their soul or their spirit, I should say, the human race says their spirit stays here on earth. Where does your soul go? Their spirit stays here on earth. Why do they show you ghosts and apparitions and things like that? Why do they show you where they show you human beings or ghosts or spirits here on earth, constantly staying here, trapped on earth? Because they were created here. So where else are they going to go besides here? They were created here, in this realm. They were spiritually and physically created here. The essence of them is water. So they're going to stay where the water is. They're going to go where the water pulls them. As I said, the attraction, thus the attraction to the moon. Right? This is all mental connection here as well. Right? We're going to follow where it is that we're supposed to follow from the inside. Right? We're going to continue to build solar worlds. Right? We're supposed to be making this planet or preparing this planet to house solar energy. Why now? Why now is, these companies preparing the planet to house solar energy? Because the energy that it previously ran on was based in water. Right? What I mean by it is your electricity is based on water. Like here in New York, it's powered by Niagara Falls. The generators are run by water, the flowing of water over those falls. So water flowing is where your electrical current comes from. Now, if that dynamic changes and now you have solar power, meaning that you're harnessing light from the sun to generate your lights and things like that, and your electricity in your homes, then something's going to happen. More things are going to start being evolved. Things are going to take on something extra here with that sun energy. Right? Why? Because the sun wasn't created here on the planet like water. Water is only native to this planet. The water here is only native to this planet. Whereas you have other water streams and things like that were created on other planets, but the water here is only native to this planet. The sun is not native to this planet. So if you are inviting the sun down, or you are pulling the sun down or harnessing the energy of the sun further down on this planet in your general use, another evolution is going to take place when you're doing that. See, it's one thing to pull the energy and the power from the sun, just the general sun's rays and whatnot, but when you're starting to use it more to generate power in your homes or to turn on your televisions or your radios and things like that, something's going to take place. Certain people will die from it. Certain people will come charged from it. It will kill off certain people with cancers, burn people. But this is what you're pulling to the planet. Because you're not going to, after a while, have another choice, because when they talked about the solar showers coming to this planet, it's going to sweep out, it's going to knock out the electrical current and the current electrical system that's running this planet. They said it's going to knock out all the generators and all the electricity here when a solar shower comes. And they predicted one is going to come. This is real. Pay attention. This is the evolution of a people, a solar force. All right? Don't believe what people tell you when they say, the sun is going to damage our people. Right? It's going to create a whole new world. And we're coming into this right now. Those of our people who are in tune, you say you're in tune with your so-called ancestors, tune into the sun. You'll get more clarity that way. A lot of you are receiving clarity where you're looking into the future. It's really because the sun is hitting the planet and is opening you up, because that is the light that enables you to see mentally beyond barriers. Right? They say that sunlight transcends all dimensions and levels. Why? Because the sun, as I said, the sun's rays or the sunlight is not a part of this planet. I'm not speaking in allegorical terms. I'm speaking in just straightforward, logical talk. it penetrates dimensions. It opens up the doors and opens up, shines light through dimensions. The sunlight, why? Because it's not from here. So the power of the sun is beyond this planet. Pay attention. We're going to play a little bit of music. We'll be right back. Sarah. Sunshine. We'll be right back. You know, there's a reason why I refer to our people as, and I can keep saying this, I refer to us to tell our people to stop calling ourselves black people. See, because black people are going to have a hard time receiving this intelligence I'm trying to share. Because you are naturally going to look to white people to validate what I'm teaching you today. You're going to naturally look to them. Because by calling you black people, that was their way of calling you carbon copy versions of white people. So that, what does that do? That puts them first as authority and head over you, and puts you second to be behind them, right? Instead of being after God or behind God. And what do I mean by that? When I say in the state of Mentel that we are a state after God, whereas those in the U.S., they say we are a nation under God, we are a state after God in the state of Mentel. What I mean by that is that we are following after Amen, because Amen, God is first. In God we trust. We say that this intelligence, we have to follow the intelligence of God, who is going to send us knowledge that's going to move us into the future. So we are following after God. That's why I refer to us as the bright race, because Amen is, God is the bright one, the intelligent one, the solar intelligent one, the one who sends true intelligence into this atmosphere, into this universe, which is why they say in this society, if they consider you to be very intelligent, they call you bright. So I refer to my people as bright ones, or the bright race, not the black race, because the black race is those in darkness. That's why I said the black people can't hear me. They can only hear the authorities, the present-day authorities, your white race. So open your minds as bright people, solar, intelligent people, then you'll be able to see the logic in what I'm sharing with you. Because it's going to be hard for a lot of our people. Well, I'm not even going to say it's not going to be hard for our people, the bright race, to accept this logic and hear the logic in what's being said. But the black race, they could forget it. Because they're going to go, oh, well, where's this at in this book? Where's the white man say it? I haven't ever heard that before, so he got to be making this up. And God will send intelligence that is based in logic. He's going to even force your scientists, your white scientists, to start telling the truth gradually. They're going to get discoveries, and they're going to be given inspiration to share with the world that's going to back up or push up these words or push this intelligence forward. God will use them, right? Because it's time for us to know who we are. It's time for us to know what we are connected to, what the Son of Man really means. Why we were gathering and we have an affinity for Sunday. What did Ray mean in ancient Egypt? What was all of that about? What was all that hands to the sky thing? What was all that about? What is our affinity toward the sun? Is this a part of our evolution? Hell yeah. Hell yeah, this is a part of our evolution. Right? This is a part of our evolution. We should be giving more emphasis to this than some goddamn Africa. Africa? Right? We should be giving more energy to Amen and our solar intelligence as a bright race of people instead of some nonsense about Africa and us being black or Moor or Muslim or whatever and stuff. That's all earthbound stuff. And that's not going to get us anywhere but marching in circles. It comes a time when you have to look beyond what it is you're standing on in order to move forward. The sun is beyond. Now, I know a lot of people say, oh, brother, that's spookism, brother. We got to... No, that's because you're not connected. You're disconnected. You're not connected. You're disconnected. You're not connected. You're disconnected from God. And God shares this solar intelligence with us through me. He has to share it with those people who are in tune. God says stop calling to tell our people, the elect, to stop referring to themselves as the black race. Stop calling ourselves the black race. Stop putting ourselves against the white race, because by putting ourselves against them, we are putting ourselves with them. I'm going to say it again. By putting ourselves against them, we're putting ourselves with them. And what does that do when we put, because like I said, I gave the analogy. If somebody says up against the wall, like the police telling y'all to get up against the wall, that means you become one with the wall, because now you're with the wall. Get up against something. So what does that do when we are up against them? When we are against them, we are together with them. And what does that do? That limits our intelligence, because we're looking for our intelligence to come through them instead of from God. So to get this intelligence of our solar ancestry, our solar intelligence, our solar connection to our solar plex, that is going to move us forward to know our solar lineage. Forget the damn African lineage. That's some nonsense and some limited perception from the white man. He called us Africans. We don't know our solar lineage as those rays, as those tells, right? As those telebings. We don't know our lineage as those almond beings, our solar lineage. That's what we need to be connecting with, our solar lineage. The hell with some African lineage and some Egyptian lineage. That was times and places here. Those are limited times. And the people who are caught in those times are limited people. No, we're supposed to be an unlimited people. The sun is unlimited. Why? Because they can say, oh, the sun was formed and put together 4.6 billion years ago. That's what they say. That's what the white man says. The sun came together 4.6 billion years ago. But the sun came from someplace else. It came from a greater sun. It came from a great numbering of souls coming together to form a community. The planet Sun. You understand? The planet Sun. 4.6 billion years ago. 4.57 billion years ago. That's where they estimate the origin, the time of the sun. And they even say that it came from a smaller star. What do they mean it came from a smaller star? So that means that the sun was coming from other places. Right? That means the sun was coming from other power sources. What was those original power sources? It was us. We have a continual solar connection, a continual solar lineage. This is who we are. This is who we are. We have a solar lineage, not a spiritual lineage, not some blood, some African lineage or some nationality. We have a universal solar lineage. All right? Through the solar plex, through our solar plasmic bloodline. They tell you that. If you need them to tell you. That's our power in that sun. Coming through that sun. Sitting in our chest as solar plex. That's our power. Those of our people who want to sit up here and put their energy into a bunch of dead societies like Egypt and Africa and all that, and all these other places, go right on ahead. If you find power in it, have a nice day. Have at it. That's limitations. When we call ourselves Africans, that's the white man tricking us into limiting ourselves to that one continent, when the whole world belongs to us, the whole damn planet, as one Pangea. And not just that, now the universe, the solar systems that we set up. You understand? That they trying to go to different planets within the solar systems that we set up. We are not part of the human race. We are part of the Ah-man race, the Omni beings, those who came beyond this world, not created, but a natural manifestation that grew here out of the bloodline of God. You understand? Heat makes things grow and rise. We are growing into, or we're supposed to be growing into, gods or almond beings, stronger. With that solar connection. The solar connection is our bloodline. It's our blood flow. We're supposed to be linking into that and growing into that now. That's real. Y'all walking around, you sisters walking around, your head, y'all, why all of a sudden now y'all sisters going back natural? Y'all walking around with y'all big old froze out, proud and whatnot. That's that solar energy going through you. That's that solar energy going through you. That's not going through any other woman on this planet, any other female, I should say. You brothers, y'all walking around with y'all naturals, low, short, proud. Why now? Y'all being prepared for something else. That's the evolution of the sun that's making you sisters wear your hair natural. Who else is putting that message in the world? A white man ain't putting that in the world. He trying to get you to perm your hair and break it down and put that chemical on it to make it look like his hair. So what made y'all start wearing your hair natural, letting it grow out, letting it wearing y'all naturals, y'all afros? What made you start doing that? That's that solar intelligence going through the planet that you women are picking up first. You women are picking it up because y'all are readying yourselves for another generation to come through your bloodline. That's why they pushing for y'all to mix y'all seed. They readying another solar generation to come through your bloodline right now. Y'all going to produce the next children that will take flight. Or it will come in your grandchildren. Right? The true supermen and superwomen that will walk the planet again through your bloodline. Bright woman, bright man. Solar intelligent woman and solar intelligent man. You're being ready for it. The quickening is taking place. Where is the sun going? It's going into you. It's feeding you. I feel it when I get up in the morning, the sun's shining, I'm moving faster. You understand? I'm thinking quicker. I'm getting things done faster. Why? That's that solar connection. Y'all supposed to be feeling it too. Y'all supposed to be congregating in the name of this. You understand? In the name of that mental sun. Okay? Those people who are those solar intelligent beings. Right? The mental sun. What they call the third eye. Because you're supposed to be seeing with that third eye into the future. And how is that possible? Doesn't that light, what is the light that carries your vision into the future to see through different time frames and dimensions or see into what you call the future? What's the light that carries that? The sunlight. Did I not say that the sunlight penetrates all dimensions because it's not from here? So the light is strong and it penetrates all dimensions, which is why you're referred to as a third eye. Your mind is referred to as the third eye because it sees through all dimensions. It has the ability to see through all time frames so that you can predict the future. That's why a lot of our people right now, I know a lot of you who are tuned in, y'all starting to be able to see future events and things. You're starting to be able to tap into future things. Things are starting to happen for you now. You're seeing it. I'm seeing it more and more. A lot of you are being sped up. A lot of you are being sped up. A lot of you are receiving that solar intelligence. A lot of you are being tuned in. Those of our people who carry the bloodline of the human, they're going to try to shut down your connection. They're going to say things like, "Oh, that's crazy," and this, that, and the third. They won't logically be able to challenge it. What's being said, and it's not through this knowledge of intellect, through this intelligence of intellect. They're not going to be able to challenge the intelligence because it's based in logic. Logic is the foundation of this solar knowledge. Logic is the foundation of intellect. Logic is the foundation of every single bit of God's intelligence. Logic is there. It's the foundation of all of it. It's the foundation of your manifestation and the creation of man. Biological. We're not just saying these words. These words don't come from man. They come through man. Just like this solar energy and the intelligence that it carries, it comes from God through man by way of those soul forces that are forcing this intelligence and this energy into the atmosphere. It's feeding us. It's feeding us. It's powering us. It's connecting with us. That magnet. Like I said, go and read that magnetic force field or that magnetic the plasma that's interwoven magnetically throughout the sun has to be, if it's a magnet there, it has to be pulling something here, right? It has to link up with something here. It has to strengthen something here. Why our people have the inclination now to stare at the sun more and more? They tell you receive vitamin D through the sun. You can receive a lot of your your minerals through the sun, because the sunlight was used to transport minerals to this planet, generate minerals into this planet, even gold. The sunlight was used to generate these minerals here from the almond beings. They used the solar light to generate them. They passed them through here. Right? They say that gold is an excellent reflector or protection against the sun's light. Right? But it also carries minerals. It carries minerals in it. Right? To be mined out of a planet. Purposely. It was all transportation. Teletransportation, mental transportation, all possible through sunlight. All possible. If your electronic devices and things like that, which were created down here, can be powered through sunlight, right? Then that energy can power anything. It can power anything. It can power your intelligence. It does power your intelligence. It powers your capabilities. It wakes up your capabilities. It gives rise to your mental capabilities that you're not using. What made the jump from our people, where we were at a certain point using a small percentage, as they say, of our brain power, what made the jump where we started using a larger percentage and started becoming gods? That solar connection made the jump for us. It helped us jump. The solar connection jumped man ahead. It jumped man and woman ahead. How do you know that? You're very bright. You're very smart. You're a very bright person. Right? Your inspiration, your ideas. What do they show you the symbol of when you get inspiration, ideas? A light bulb coming on your head. They use the light bulb. Right? Or they say the angels and messengers of God have a halo over their head. Light. Lit up like the sun. That's all connotations to the sun, in which intelligence is sent through those rays from your ascendants, even picked up and pushed through your descendants, your ancestors. Because now they're in a position to know things where they moved into the future. They know things that you don't know. The ancestors become the ascendants through time. Right? The ancestors become the ascendants. So when you're saying that those of us who lived back then become those who are now and become those who are in the future, the ancestors become the ascendants. So we come back in the ascension. What furthers that ahead? That solar connection. We have to go to that place in the sun or through the sun to be charged, to come back here, right? To ride down on that sperm cell again, out of our fathers' penises into our mother's vagina, and go into that egg form and grow into a life form and receive our intelligence again. But we have to pass through that stargate. We have to pass through that stargate, which is the sun, to receive our intelligence, to go to school, to get our charge before we come back here and have greater intelligence. Some of us have to be sped up when we down here through that solar intelligence. That's what's speeding up our intelligence, what's causing us that blood to quicken in its flow to your brain, right? To get it pumping and get it speeding up so that you start using more of your intelligence. When you sit still and stagnant and you stop walking as people get older, They developed something called Alzheimer's disease, they call it, right? Why they call it Alzheimer's disease? Because the blood is not making a flow upward to your brain anymore. So you get senile. The only way your brain stays active is this blood getting back and forth into the brain. So you have to always be moving. My grandmother, she tried to keep walking until she passed away last year, 89. And we always knew her to be walking all the time, always walking. She would walk long distances, and her memory was sharp as hell. She remembered birthdays, everything. Never had a moment where she was senile or went through any of that. Why? Because she kept moving, because the blood kept going to her brain. Right? That's that plasma. That's that connection with the sun. That's what keeps you moving forward. That's what keeps your brain, right, and keeps your brain open to receive mental messages. That blood has to be flowing up toward the brain. You have to constantly be moving. So I tell my people, don't sit around and meditate. Be moving if you want to receive intelligence into the future. Be moving. Walk, run. You see the white man, you always see them jogging and running someplace, right? Loads around, you see them jogging and running all over the place. Because what they're not going to tell you is they understand the power of that blood flow to the brain. Even if they got a little bit of that solar intelligence in them from us, but they understand the power, even though it's an artificial one, but they understand the power of that blood flow to the brain. That's why they keep running. Our people sit around, get slow, get fat, get stagnant, and that blood is not circulating and going to the brain. And our minds are not our brain is not opened up to receive intelligence from the mental connection, right? Which is linked to that solar plex, which is linked receiving messages from that from the outer sun, right? It's not receiving it. We're supposed to be those receivers of that message that they're sending. How are you going to get that message? Because whenever you get that, whenever you receive a message, what does it make you do? Those of you who are in tune, I know what I do when I start receiving intelligence. I got to get up and move. It's hard for me to stay still. I get up and start pacing back and forth. Because that message center in your brain is going to force you up in the air. Because it's solar panel, it's solar driven. It's going to force you up in the air like all heat does. It will force you to start making moves, making motion. It will start to interact with your solar plex, those messages. This is real. This is the movement, and this is the thinking of solar plex beings. Questions, comments? Questions, comments? Those of you who, I didn't even think about this. I've been going. I told you I get in the zone sometime. And I didn't even, here we are, about 30 minutes left to go in this broadcast. Those of you who don't know who I am or new to the broadcast, I am the intellectual Nuben Menkarayzz, and this is State of Mental Radio. And you know what we're talking about already. I mean, it's really no need for me to tell, but I'll say it anyway for those of you who came in late, right? Because I always, like to make sure I introduce myself. This is the broadcast, the true origin and purpose of the sun. Right? And we was going to break it, and I'm breaking it down logically for my people to understand because it's important. I didn't want to break it down as no Egyptologist, no sun worship or none of the other stuff because I'm not into the Egyptology and the sun worship. I deal with the mental evolution of our people, and I understand, or I have an ultra-standing, that intelligence, greater intelligence, future intelligence is only going to come once we understand or have an ultra-standing of our connection with that solar intelligence and that sun that sits in our chest and the sun that sits over our head. We have to have a understanding or ultra-standing of what it is that sun is supposed to be doing and powering us forward into the future. Right? It's no longer about the past. It's about the future. The quickening is taking place. Right? The quickening is taking place. So, what do I want to play? Okay. We're going to play a little bit of music. January 27th, those of you who are in the New York City area, we're going to be doing the State of Mental's, new focus, which is the True God Revealed. That's going to be That's going to be the title of the conference. It's going to be the True God Revealed. All right, January 27th in Brooklyn, New York. So come on out and hear us teach about the true and living God, Amen. God, raw and uncut, real. No more church, no more religion, no more praying, no more spiritual spookism. Just God as is, real, raw, and uncut. And why God is not making a mental connection with us? Why is that? We're going to break it all down logically. So join us in Brooklyn, New York. If you want to attend, you want to find out directions, give us a call at 347-465-3602 or 718-510-3769. We got a question. Let me take one. All right, before we play. 757.
Hello? Is
yes.
that me?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
hi. Yay, I made it. Well, thanks for, taking my call and everything. I've been listening to your show for last month and a half or so, and it's really got me thinking about all the nonsense that don't make sense that we live as so-called black people, as you like to say. I did have a question, though. I was wondering if you could tell me more about the solar plex that we have within us.
Okay. Well, the solar plex within us sits in the you have a echoing on your phone and it's coming back.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, well, I'll explain it. Okay, it's going. The solar plex that's sitting in our chest is a central sun that sits there, and it can be seen. It's if you should ever, they say receive a shot to it sits between or toward the end of the rib cage and just above the stomach. If they say you should ever receive a punch or a shot there, it'll knock the wind out of you or it can take you down. Now, that wind, what we understand with air is that oxygen has fire in it. Right, so that solar plex, which can be seen by way of Kirlian photography and things like that, is like a central sun that sits in our chest. And oftentimes, when we are eating the wrong foods, we tend to get heartburn and things like that. That's connected with the solar plex. So it's just like I said, our central system and that central sun where we draw our energy from, what you call the soul in religion. It's that energy that's basically keeping us moving forward. It's our powerhouse.
Oh, okay.
And when that's the soul, that's really what the soul is. When they talk about the soul, that's the solar plex. That's just another way of them saying the solar plex. It's a standard column of energy grids within us that carries us forward. It's an energy grid, a solar grid that carries us forward. And when we die, you see that light, that solar plex shuts down or it goes out. They'll say if you're still alive, they got to keep you on the machine. They'll say that you're brain dead, or they'll say that they're trying to keep you alive artificially. That's where that soul, that light is left, and they're just trying to keep you alive. But that's the power that keeps us moving forward.
Okay. Yeah, because I've, been seeing things like that, in my, I guess, in my internal vision or whatever. And, actually, it, the first time I saw it, scared the mess out of me because it actually spoke, and it said, "You poor thing, I am so sorry. This could all be so much better."
Well, let me ask you. Let me ask you something. I'm sorry. Are you calling from Virginia?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Is this Catrice?
Oh, no.
Okay, it's a sister. I'm pretty sure she listens. I thought it was a sister by the name of Catrice that listens in. Okay, I'm sorry. What were you saying, though?
Well, yeah, it actually spoke to me, and it said, "You poor thing, I'm so sorry. I have failed you." And when this basically happened when I started coming up out of, a religious mindset, out of, believing everything, that I saw around me was, as it was, without any deeper meanings, just all surfaces, and that it was some kind of, how should I put it? It was some kind of, some kind of inevitable outcome. I didn't know that it was by design yet,
Mhm.
And it, it really inspired me to start, doing different things like, eating better, working out, trying to start up a jewelry business and everything like that. Things that I wouldn't have done if it hadn't, shown up.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why I'm listening to your show, and it's making just so much sense. You're putting it out there.
Well, the intelligence of God is supposed to make sense. See, that's what we've been missing, and the things we've been missing, and our connection with God is either our people will say there is no God. This is what our people do now. There is no God, or they God, or God is a spirit or a spook, and this all denotes the people who are disconnected from God, because only disconnected people say things like this. We are presenting in the state of Mentel, and when we doing our classes, I said we had to separate as a state from the church. So we had to form a state of people who have knowledge and who know God, and people who are in tune with God versus those people who believe in God. I said we don't believe in God, we trust in God because we acknowledge God to be true. So the people that believe, those are the people who have accepted the belief for the lies of mankind through his religions.
Yeah, I could never do that. I remember being in churches, as a young child, all the way, off and on, up until I got to be like 12 and 13. And I could feel something say, don't sit here. You won't, don't sit here. This is not the place for you. And it would feel wrong to be there. I still remember that feeling. It makes my flesh crawl. So when people invite me to churches, like they do all the time, I smile, and I be quiet. I don't want to be mean to people. It's not cool. But, I just, take the card and go about my business.
We forming the state of God. We ain't focused on no more church. It's about the state of God, meaning the people who are coming in tune in a mental state, physically and mentally in tune in a state with God, or one collective world with God. And that is bringing that out of us and making that higher connection. So that's what we doing, because God is real. It's just that we have to understand or have a true knowledge of who and what God is, factually and based in logic and reality. If not, then it's just a bunch of nonsense and beliefs like we've been doing.
Yeah, that stuff never really ever made sense. I would just have so many questions, like, I remember, grilling a certain cousin of mine, about this stuff, like, well, how do you know this? And how do you know that? Because she was, raised in the church with her mother and everything like that. Well, how do you know when this is happening, such and such? I don't remember the, actual questions, but I do remember, the nature of them, like how, why, when. And I would just get a lot of stuff, weird stuff. Yeah.
Well, religion is a place for the mentally dead. The church, the synagogue, the mosque, those are places for the mentally dead. That's not no place where you're allowed to think. You got to believe them and what they say, and if you don't believe what they tell you, and they're going to tell you going against the church, you a sinner, get out. You're not allowed to think in there. All right? They tell you that. You just accept what they teach you and believe in what they teach you. Believe in the lie. That's why you see the word lie and believe. You believe that, and if you don't believe it, then you can't. If you can't believe, if you don't believe it, then have a nice day. That's what they tell you.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of strange looks when I said, I'm not really interested in religion. People looked at me like I was a demon, some kind of demon spawn. I'm like, okay, I'll just be demon spawn. I don't care anymore. If that's what you want to look at me as, I don't care.
Well, whatever. That's just something they try to do. They try to do to make you feel like an outcast and feel ashamed. So they do that. So.
I learned the hard way. With black people, it's like not Jesus automatically equals Satan.
Yeah. Well, that's how they've been trained to think by. That's how they've been trained to think by the white man. Our people just a bunch of zombies just following whatever the white man say. They still on remote. Our people are still on remote mind control from the white man.
Yeah, so. And that is just so sad. I remember actually grieving. I was trying to tell this kind of stuff to my mom. And she said to me, I don't want to put it out there like that, but she actually said to me, the Bible was the first book ever written. And I'm thinking, yeah, because people stole it from us. they took our stuff and just, rearranged it, and everything like that. And I was like, I can't talk to her. I got to stop. I got to end this conversation right now.
Well,
we don't fight.
Certain people are just in certain lanes where they're supposed to be, and it's not really for you to change it. You're supposed to just go to the people who are in tune and congregate with those people who are in tune mentally, and leave the people who are on a certain level, lead them where they at. So, but listen, sister, I have to go. But listen, I have to go. Okay.
All right. It was great talking to you.
Great speaking to you too.
All right.
Continue listening.
Continue the show. I'll keep listening. All right.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
We're gonna play a little bit of music, and then I'll get back to answer these questions. Certain Shades of Limelight. Swing Out Sister. It's my favorite. We'll be right back. The Earth orbits the Sun in an elliptical orbit, and the Moon orbits the Earth in the same way in an elliptical orbit. Right? That means that had to be set in an order. Right? An order was set for it to line up the same way, to orbit each other. Right? They both are in line to receive power. Right? They're both on line to receive power. Right? All of those planets within the solar system were already visited by our people, the Amen beings, been visited by them. They bred life on them, and when they couldn't breed any life on them, they sent a lot of those people that lived there into the solar planet, into the sun, planet sun. Right? Like I said, don't believe the nonsense where they tell you that life can't live on the sun. That sounds crazy, because human life, they say human life can't live on the sun. They right. Human life can't live on the sun. Hell, human life can't live on the earth under the sun. Is that not true? They can't even live on this. They can't even live on the earth under the sun. So they damn sure can't live on the sun, right? But then as you get into the sun, they start to discover, and I think I heard this. It says they go into the sun, it gets actually cooler, right? It's cooler. That's the outer sun where it's hot. You got your inner sun where it's actually livable, right? Okay. So like that nonsense, while people are still calling themselves melanated. Melanin belongs to the East Indians. Melanin is an artificial coloring and an artificial derivative from carbon. The sun generated carbon here on this planet, and carbon was used as a coating that we put on our solar bodies to cover us in this atmosphere. It automatically attaches to our solar bodies. Carbon is a coating that is which is what our skin is made of. It is not melanin. Melanin is an artificial derivative or watercoloring of carbon. And the first people to get that artificial watercoloring were your East Indians, who are your original black men. They are the first creation that came from our genetic and the mutation of the animals that were being bred out of the water to breed your human life. They are your first humans, your East Indians. That's why they have the brown skin. But if you notice, their brown skin is melanin. It don't look like our skin. We are carbon-based beings, not melanin beings. Your melanin beings are your East Indians. And melanin can be taken out of the body and made lighter. This is where you get your white man who comes from them, your Caucasian, which is a bleached-out version of an East Indian. Right? These melanated beings cannot live under the sun. Carbonated beings can. Well, let me take that back. Melanated beings can live under the sun, but not like carbonated ones. Because melanin was brought out or drawn out on this planet through the carbon base. It's an artificial watercoloring. Right? So, as we start to understand this, as we start to understand the evolution of our people, right, we have to understand our genetic makeup as carbon-based beings, as a coating that is on us, as a solar plex that's in our chest, as those who are supposed to be receiving solar intelligence, as those who are not a human being but almond being, of those who are not black people but bright people, we have a whole new evolution and a whole new intelligence about who we are. And I'm ready to stand on it and back it up through the knowledge or through the intelligence of Mentellect. I'm ready to stand up against anybody based on it, white, black, blue, purple, whatever, about the origin, or should I say the evolution and the eternal existence of the bright race from which we are descended from. It's about that solar lineage, not about no earthbound lineage, because we're not even from Earth. So let's knock off the Africa crap. Let's knock off the Egypt crap. We not even those were places we came through and came to, set up, and we broke out. And whether we were chased out, whether we ran out, we left. We set up every place on the planet. The whole world, the planet belongs to us. We were all over this place as a Pangea. It's about the solar lineage, the mental lineage, right? That solar intelligent lineage. That's what it's about. That continuous lineage off of this world, outside this world, outside this solar system, beyond that, where the sun went beyond the system that was set up around it. That's what it's about. So, let me go ahead and answer these questions. I think I got, let me just make sure I'm checking. 801, I got you already, right? 801? 801, okay. Nobody there. Just wanted to make sure I got everybody before there was no questions. All right, because I'm about to close out. Those people, please do not ask me any questions because I went through, I gave people enough time to call in and ask questions. We got down to our last 9 minutes. Let me answer these questions before we get out of here. All right, let me see. All right. Let me answer these questions. Thank you, Sister Dyra, by the way, for putting up the intelligence on the meeting, the True God Revealed meeting. We're going to give God back to our people how God really is. We're going to give God forward, I should say, to our people. We're not saying giving nothing back because there's no more backwards going. We're going to give God forward as he really is, futuristically, to our people. All right? This is what we're doing in the evolution of ourselves, because if we don't reintroduce God moving forward in our evolution, then we're not going to move forward. If we don't push God forward in our heads through our intelligence about him logically, then we're not going to move forward. And I don't care about none of the nonsense they say, all this politics and revolution crap. That's not going to help our people. All right? That's all. That's not going to help our people, because if it was going to help our people move to a higher level, it would already happen. Our evolution is going to come from our connection with God, the true and living God, Amen, and that solar connection, that solar intelligence. So let me go on ahead. What is the true origin of the sun? The true origin of the sun is us, our ancestors, our ascension, our souls collectively together as a communal effort to send energy to this planet. Our souls are a community which makes up the sun planet, or the solar planet. That's what the sun is. That's the origin of the sun. The origin of the sun are other solar systems and solar beings that have all been conformed into a light force to create a sun or a solar planet to house or build a world around this solar system, to become the center of this system here. It is all the past solar systems and the past beings, or the solar beings that were in the last world, who have made it to this one, and that state of perfection. All right. What is its true purpose? The sun's true purpose: to send power, to send intelligence, right? To send energy to the people who carry the solar plex here, to move us ahead, to bring about our evolution, because each time we are moving ahead, we're also supposed to be going into that world. I had a vision one time where I said that the earth is going to become the sun, because truth be told, the earth came from the sun anyway, so it will end up probably going back toward that anyway. It's going to become something like the sun or something higher in the state of evolution. All right? So we are headed forward. They're supposed to be sending intelligence through the sun's rays to us, the elect, to move things forward, all right, through the transmission of Amen, who directs these things. Right? Why is it said that the sun is 93? No, that was wrong. I should have said 93 million miles away from the planet, because I said that the 93 represents the number 9 and 3 equals 12, right? And 1 and 2 equals 3, which is a perfect number or a perfect distance for a three-dimensional planet that is three of the third rock, as they say, from the sun. So it's no coincidence that this planet is in a rotation of 3 through the number 12. And 9 and 3 is 12. And 9 times 3 is 27, which equals 9 and 2, 2 or 7 equals 9. All this plays a part, and even the numerical system plays a part in the evolution of our people. All right? It's meant to be points and measure toward our evolution. All right? How does the sun fit into the time frame of the earth? All right? How does the sun fit into the time frame of the earth? The sun penetrates the time frames of the earth. The sun's rays penetrate each time frame of the earth. Right? The sun also goes through an evolution based on the time frames of the earth. Right? Just as we're supposed to be growing and going through an evolution. But that is a piercing, and it also enacts the intelligence, supposed to enact the intelligence of those people who carry the solar plex. It's supposed to bring a rise to their intelligence, and it's supposed to send messages at a stronger rate or a faster rate to speed them up, to get their brains working faster in a time frame, in a dimension, in different dimensions, right? Which are nothing but housed or framed out time frames that are separated, right? Those are time frames, dimensions of time frames that are separated, right? Blocks of time, in which solar intelligence penetrates those blocks of time. All right. Will the sun eventually burn out in the future? It will. Well, the sun will convert to something else. Right? The sun will convert the sun's light, and the sun will convert into something else. Right? It will go to form another solar system. It will continuously go on to keep forming solar systems. It is automatically set up to keep forming solar systems. Right? It'll just form a new solar system. It'll continue to form other planets, because the blueprint for other planets and other worlds is in the sun. Right? So that is it. We got 3 minutes left, and what do I want to play to close out? Join me Monday on State of Mintel Radio. Be a hot topic such as this one. Thank you for coming and listening. The close out. Join us on the, as I said, on the 27th, January 27th, Sunday, January 27th, question and answer. I'll be there, standing up, answering anything, standing on the intelligence of Mentellect and the forming of our state of God, the state of Mentel, the true knowledge on God we're going to be giving. So, I am the intellectual Nuben Minkari. This has been State of Mentel Radio. Good night.
It's the Republic of Mentellect, rising out the black race to the white race, out the black race to the white race. It's the Republic of Mentellect, black race to the white race. If it's hell, and then it's hell us. They tried everything just to spell us. Fed us religion, gave us fake gods. Through all of that, we beat the odds. Now we coming together under one flag. Colors red, gold, and blue. Superman, Superwoman, that's me and you. The infinite capabilities that we can